So, this idea of normal, not normal, it's got so many dimensions to it, which is, I guess, what led the recipe team to really dig deep with the white paper. So I was just really curious about what was it that inspired you to actually dig a little deeper, to define the sort of not normal, and actually look at what it actually does for a business, and what surprises did you come across along the way?
So I think that it started probably with a repositioning that we did as an agency ourselves. So for years we'd had a few different ways of selling ourselves, or kind of sound bites that we'd use to put in front of pitch documents, and then we actually wanted to really assess what made us different as an agency or unique, and that involved lots of things like interviewing core clients we had, chatting a lot about the cultures that we had at the agency as well. And we sort of ended up on this idea that was, we weren't founded in a normal way. So Dan, Ed and Jim were best mates that grew up a couple of streets together at the stage when they founded it, sort of 16 years ago or something, hadn't worked in kind of big advertising agencies. So to be founded as an agency was not in the normal way. I think lots of clients told us our process was different. We didn't, kind of take ages to crack something, put hundreds of people on every project. And then we also had an aspiration to make not normal work. So we're kind of like, okay, these are the three areas in which not only is that kind of our aspiration, but it is our, kind of truth to our identity. It's how we were founded. So we came up with this thought of not normal, and spent a lot of time talking about it and aspiring to it. But then we thought, actually, what would be cool is if we could go a little bit deeper and actually understand this concept of normal and not normal in advertising. Because I think it's fair to say nearly every advertising agency or even marketing team would aspire to do stuff that is not normal, i.e. creative. But we wanted to understand why there was a pull towards normality, why 89% of advertising is ignored, to quote Dave Trott, and why so little of it is even acknowledged or kind of remembered. So we wanted to dig into that, and that's the reason for the white paper. It was to look at all the variety of different kind of effectiveness literature that we'd seen, all the different stories about why as human beings we're drawn to the seductive nature of being part of the herd, the safety in numbers type thing, and then also why kind of scientifically our brains are hardwired to actually spot normality. And we always talk about the kind of evolutionary psychology of it, that when you were growing up as cavemen or on the savannah or whatever it might have been, being part of a pack was safety against predators, but simultaneously you had to be able to spot the pair of ears in the long grass or the whispering tail of a saber-toothed tiger coming to get you. So that idea of being acutely aware of abnormalities or not normal, but also feeling safe within normal, felt like a really interesting tension, I think. So it isn't just kind of an issue related to advertising. It's an issue related to human beings themselves, and just exploring that felt like a really fun, interesting thing. So we weren't just saying, "Hey, we're not normal, come and believe us," but there's a reason why we're not normal, and there's a reason why we aspire to it. So it's a really fascinating project to dig into, and really interesting from a kind of sociological perspective as well as a work-based perspective.